we
This
are going
conference will now be recorded.
Today we are going to cover or start a topic called security implementation. We are going to cover a topic called security. What is security? What are the different types of security that we have, and how we are going to implement, and how we are going to validate, we are going to observe. So, like, first of all, you people already have some knowledge related to a filter and a slicer, and even a parameter also. So I said that from a data source, if you want to dynamically load the data, we have a feature called parameter. Once you load the data, once you load the data, then after, in order to hide the data to the users, we have we have a concept called filters. So data is available in that model or in your file, but still, as part of your report, we are filtering out based on the business requirement. That is a filter. Once you create a report, if user wanted to filter whatever he want, he has a slicer. So these are the three things which we already have. Parameter for loading the data dynamically or filtering the data based on the developer interest. Though you have a data here, but still for user, if I need to filter at a report level, I have a filter. And once whatever we shared, if user want, he can filter whatever he want by using a slicer. These components we already have. Now, what is a security? A security also similar to this one, and it is advanced to that filter. Whatever the filter that we have, for that an advanced version is a security. Let's go with a small example of understanding. So let's assume we have a report with five countries of data. You have a five countries of data is there, and you created a report which is going to contain the data for five countries. Source, you have a five countries. Once you load it, once you create it, you will have the report for a five countries. Let's assume you have a requirement from one user. He need only one country of data. You have a data for five countries and user want only one country data. What you are going to do? You are going to apply a filter where country equal to India, and that report becomes one specific country report, and you are going to save it and you are going to share it. Tomorrow we have a requirement for Canada. Then how you are going to handle at that time? Yes, you have another option here. You take a original report, filter for Canada and share it. Next day, another user have a requirement. These are the different users consider. Another user having a requirement for US. Next day, another user having a UK. Now, these are all the different reports which are filtered for, like India, Canada, US, UK. What is going to happen is a single report becomes a four reports here. Tomorrow, another user requires a US and Canada. UK, India, UK, Canada, US. We have different combinations will be there. How many reports you are going to maintain? And each report you are going to hold, like you are going to keep all the data, all the five countries of data you are going to keep in the model. You are just filtering it. You are not loading only required data. You are loading everything and you are filtering for only this one. So let's assume we created a four countries. Tomorrow there is one new requirement will come, like where you already have a measure c equal to a plus b. Tomorrow the requirement is a minus b. What are all the change? What are all the areas you need to make a change? Here you need to make a change. 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 It can be one measure. It can be 100 measures. It can be one visualization, 100 visualizations. At that time, the effort will be more to handle this requirement where you have a single report, but you need to share that one with a different people, with a different. You need to share it with a different people with a different levels of data access. At that time, instead of creating these many copies, we are going to work with a single copy with the help of security. So when you are going to use a security is nothing but this is a case. One report with a different data access you need to provide. There you need to use a security. Why you are not using? Why you cannot use filter means we need to make a duplicate copies. That is difficult to maintain. Similarly, when there is a new enhancements, that is a difficult to handle. So that was the reason we are going for a security. Now, with a security, how we are going to handle this one is, so as I mentioned this time, so we are going to load the data and we are going to create a visualizations. Now, there is a concept called role. Role. We are going to create a multiple roles in a Power BI. In a Power BI, we are going to create a multiple roles like for India, Canada, US, UK. We are going to filter this one for only India. This Canada, we are going to filter for only Canada. Only US, only UK, we are going to write one condition and we are going to create a role. And we are going to add the user here. Now, whenever a user log in, he is going to see only US based data or only UK based data, only India based data, only Canada based data. So report is going to be a single. We are going to create a multiple reports, multiple roles based on the user login that is going to display. I will explain how to create and all those things. So this one security majorly of two types. Implementing a security in a Power BI is of two types. One we used to call it as role based security. The second one we used to call it as row based security. Technically, generally people speak all the security as RLS, but it has a two types, role and a row. Technically, people call it as this as a static security. This we used to call it as a dynamic security. Dynamic security. So now in this session, we are going to understand what is role based security, how to implement it, how to test it, how to add the people to that role. We are going to observe. That's it. And tomorrow we are going to observe this one. With that, complete security will be completed. Why we require security, I explained the first diagram. Okay. So now let's go to Power BI. I'm just loading that sample data. So I loaded a sample data. Now, what we need to do is, let me first create a couple of visuals here. చెప్పు కిషోర్. కొంచెం అటు ఇటుగా కానీ మనం ఎక్కువ లోతు అక్కర్లా, ఎంత కొంచెమేగా మొక్క సైజు వరకు చాలు. ఉంది ఉంది, పొలుగు ఉంది. ఉమ్. లేదు, ఒక నిమిషం. మా ఇంట్లో పొలుగు నాయుడు.
This conference will now be recorded.
So, like I created a visual, country based visual. I created one thing. Now, to create a role, what we need to do is, to implement a security, we need to go to modeling. We have an option called manage roles. So click on that, and here whenever you click on a new, whenever you click on new, like you will get an option here, and you can give your own name, whatever the role name that you want to give. So in this scenario, like Mexico, Germany, France, Canada, we have. So I'm creating a role for Canada. Canada. Now what you need to do is, you need to select what is the filter that you want to apply. Just a second. Okay. Switch to default editor. So here we need to click on plus, where the column country equals to Canada, and click on save. So one role we created, and similarly, if you want to create another role, selected this one, France I selected. Again, here you can apply. So here, for each and every role, the list of tables, all the list of tables will be displayed here. Now, so whenever I click on plus for a France, again country equals to France. So like that, multiple roles you are going to create. So once you are done with the role creation, you can test it with the help of a view as. So view as I mentioned, whatever the roles I created, I can see here. Select Canada, click on OK. Observe that now viewing as Canada. So if role called Canada logs in, he is able to see only Canada. Similarly, view as, if I select a France, they can see only France, because for a France we applied a condition called France. For Canada, like we applied a condition called Canada. So like that, you can create a role here by mentioning a new, whatever the condition that you want to apply, you can apply here. And by adding a plus, you can apply a condition, and then after you can view it with the help of a view role as. Just a second. Delete. Okay, so next, like we can view it from here and test it whether it is working fine or not. Once it is done, you are good, and that filter will apply even here also. So which means view role as Canada. Click on OK. Here it is filtered. In the backend also, you can observe the data is displaying only for Canada. Okay. So like that, it will be filtered and we can verify. So once that is done, what you need to do is you need to save it, file, save as. I'm saving it as security, save. Now we need to go to app.powerbi.com. Something is already logged in. Okay. Okay. So I logged in here and I'm publishing that one as part of one of the workspace called test DNA. Upload a file, browse, browse, security, upload. So now I published the report is available here. Here also you can test the report by checking the role. Observe here at a security data set, you have an option called security. And whenever you click on a security, you can see the list of roles that we created. Now we need to add the people here. So you can add any, like whomever you need to give an access, you need to add there. So, so I'll select one of the, like there is one person called Sriram here. I'm adding there for Canada. Okay. And I'm clicking on add, click on save. So as of now, we provide access for Canada. We added only one person called Sriram. Let's observe. Just a second. Save it. Save is done. I'm going to that workspace. Security. Test role as. And that to test role as security, create a report with the semantic model and save it to the same workspace. To test row level security, create a report with the semantic model. That is already done. Okay. So now it is worked fine. I didn't make any changes. Okay. So now whenever I click on Canada, back test, just a second. Security. We already have a security and we already have a report here. Okay. Okay. So now security, security, test role as. Observe here. So it is having some sync issue. Okay, they are making a lot of changes in Microsoft and making uncomfortable. Okay, so now I just click on security view role as. Observe that now viewing as Canada. When we are viewing a Canada data we are able to see. Whenever we are selecting a France we can see. But whenever we wanted to check as Mr. Sriram, I added whom I added. Whenever I click on apply, user don't have access to dataset or report. So dataset or report. So like you can observe that, yeah, like you can see that Canada. And let's assume if access with some other person. So with some other person I want to access. Okay. So this user I selected, whenever I click on apply, you got an error because we are not provided the access. What this message is giving is the visual contains a restricted data. Similarly, again, like if you select the same person previously whom we added, they are able to see the data for Canada. And if I provide access to him for a France also, he is going to see both. Observe here, I am going to provide the access, security. I am adding him here also. Add, save. Now, now I added that one. I'm going to the workspace, refreshing. Then after security, here security. Now test role as. Here instead of role, mention Sriram here. Apply. You can observe that that person is able to see two countries because we added him at two areas. This is how we are going to implement a security. So whenever you share this report with a user, he is going to see only Canada and France. But whereas our model contains all the countries of data, based on the requirement, we provided that one. So like that, you can add any number of users to these roles based on the need. So based on your requirement, you can create any number of roles, any number of users, we are going to add it. That is all about role based security. Technically, like people used to call it as a static security also. Why? Because this report is going to work for Canada and France only, because we created for Canada and France. If I want for Mexico, I must create a role here, otherwise it will not work. So static means because we are applying a condition and we are creating a role, and that will work for only created roles. If anything new comes, that will not work. That was the reason we are calling it as a static security. So this is all about security implementation, so that with a single report we can add the users to a different roles and they can access a different set of data. Anyone has any questions on this one? It is one of the very important question in the interviews people are going to ask, like what is a security, did you implement a security, what are the different types of security, what is a role based security or row level security. People are going to ask. Very important thing, you just need to understand why we are using that one. I clearly mentioned through filters I can create a report Canada and France, but that makes report duplicated in the real time. Each report may have a huge amount of data. Unnecessarily we are maintaining a separate copy, and maintenance also, Like if there is any measures or a report need to be changed, that need to be changed at both the areas. If you miss it, that will be difficult. And in reality, we may not have a two roles or three roles. We may have 100 roles, 250 roles. At that time, maintaining that many number of files will be difficult. So that was the reason we implemented a security. To do that one, like we just need to go to modeling and we need to create a roles, like create a role and apply a condition whatever you want. That's it. Then after test it. If the test is working fine, okay, publish and add the users. You can test it at a desktop level and service level also. Some people will ask a question, can you test a role at a Power BI service? Yes, you can do. That is what I just showcased. Till here, anyone has any questions? If you have a question, unmute and proceed. If you don't have any question, mention in chat. Okay, so I'm stopping here and we'll cover that dynamic security tomorrow, and then after we'll continue with the Power BI service. And I'll upload this video by afternoon. And till last session, all the videos are uploaded in the YouTube or Drive. Please make sure that you are going to take care of your practice. Thank you all. Have a good day.